Hello everybody, welcome back to INSANEBRIT Gaming. I'm the INSANEBRIT, and today's video, I'm not even too sure what I'm going to name it, Chelsea Season Review, or whatever. I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions on on Chelsea Football Club's performance this year. It's mainly talking points, I won't even lie. I'm not going to sit here reminiscing about goals scored or, you know, score lines or whatever else, because I can't remember that far back. I have a terrible memory. All I'm going to talk about is Surrey coming in, my expectations, what I believe about Jorginho and Kante situation. I'm going to talk about Fabregas leaving and a bunch of other players coming and going at the club and the future, and all the rest of it really. Basically, some key topics that I want to talk about regarding Chelsea this season. So it's kind of a bit of a rant video, but I've written down some key points that I want to make, or at least topics rather. So this might be a little bit ranty. It is just me sitting here talking, so if you're new to the channel, I do the FIFA simulations. Of course, that's all finished now, and I will be making changes to FIFA 19 as the transfers go on, and then we're going to have to use FIFA 19 in the new season until FIFA 20 comes out, which I cannot wait to get my hands on and enjoy that. Plus, there'll be new Road to Glory as well coming up, me being Real Madrid. So don't forget to check that out. So, the first topic I want to talk about as we go down this list is Chelsea start the season with Surrey coming in and my expectations. Now, first and foremost, when Surrey came in, he only had 2 weeks to prepare for the season. And with a new manager coming in from the likes of Italy, and we had Conte. Now, when Conte came in, I said that I did not expect to win the league in the first year. Top four max, get top four. That would be a successful season, and I can't see us doing maybe a cup final, and I can't see us doing anything beyond that. And in that first year, he won the league, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on? This is crazy. We've won the league in the first year. That's insane." And of course, very happy about that. Blah blah blah. However, this new manager coming in, do we expect the same? I don't know. I know he's played expansive football, a good brand of football, but at the same time, he has never won a cup in his life, kind of thing. You know, never won a competition, so that was a little bit risky in that respect. But okay, we'll give him a go. He's got a top quality team and see what he can do with them. So he wins about 18 games on the trot or something like that, undefeated. It's brilliant, and then it starts to slowly unravel. And then people start criticising him. It feels like we went from playing really good football, tippy-tappy, whatever, possession-based at times, which is really interesting to watch and enjoyable. But then after it petered off and it kind of went downhill, and it started to look like the players were no longer playing for him, and people were moved out of position to accommodate the likes of, just say, for Jorginho. But like I said, my expectations was Sarri to get into top four this season because we're out of the Champions League. We needed that, and maybe a cup final. Again, that was my expectations, and of course we've pretty much done that on a decent level as well. Not just a domestic cup, but a European cup as well. So anyway, back to the like I said, it's a bit of a rant. So back to the changes he made. One of the changes he made, I think we went to from a back three, I believe it was, to a back four since the old system, and we've started playing a little bit more defensively. Jorginho coming in. Now, Jorginho being from Italy, very good player, technically maybe. It's a technical game over in Italy. You know, everyone needs, 9 out of 10, a Spanish player or a player from Italy needs about a year. Even Drogba, I think, when he came from the French leagues, needed a year to adapt to the Premier League. Give any player in particular a year at least to adapt, get physically stronger. The rest of it, you see it with De Gea at Manchester United, was poor in his first season, and now we're talking about him being one of the world's most best keepers, etc., etc. So everyone, at least from those perspective, needs about a year. So we always kind of felt that about Jorginho, to give him a bit of a chance, but at the same time he gave balls away. He was just non-existent. He showed up when he wanted to. His whole point was to ping the balls across the pitch and into feet and stuff like that, you know, to the likes of Hazard and William, and he never really did that, or he got marked out of it. And once we were marked out of it, he was marked. That was it, game over. We couldn't move, we couldn't breathe, because everything went through him, and it was so well documented that anyone could just, you know, put 1 or 2 people on him and he was gone, and it stopped Chelsea from functioning. At this point, you're thinking in that defensive role anyway, specifically, which kind of annoyed me, because Kante Kante is one of the best defensive midfielders in the world, and when you've got that player in the world who's won the World Cup, he won the Premier League the year before, like, what the fuck? I think he won 2 Premier Leagues at this point. He won it with Conte, didn't he? I don't know. But either way, I'm like, what the hell? Why aren't you putting him in this position? And it felt like the pundits were saying it, the fans were saying it, you know, professionals were saying it, you know, around the world kind of thing. Put him in that spot. Why aren't he doing it? And it felt like almost everyone was against Surrey in that, in the in that position, you know, like, come on, everyone wants this and you're doing something else. And it kind of felt like Surrey was trying to prove a point. Now, what's happened? Well, basically, Kante did go up further up the pitch and he did add goals to his games. But he wasn't for that. We never really wanted him for that. When you've got someone the best in the world at doing one thing, why try to change that position, take him out of that threshold, and then we're struggling trying to make him better on something else when really, you know, especially when you're leaking goals at the back or, you know, you're not as defensively solid. It doesn't make logical sense to me, which pissed a lot of people off. Yes, he got goals later on, and maybe you could argue now he's a better player, but it took a bloody good while for that to happen. And also January, hold on, sorry, what am I talking about? Yeah, January, Fabregas leaves the club. Now you're playing Jorginho every single game, and that frustrated a lot of fans, like, oh, come on, just play Fabregas. And then Fabregas leaves, he kind of got pushed out the team. Fabregas is a veteran of the Premier League. He can run with the ball, he can dribble, he's got physicality, and he scores goals. He is a complete midfielder compared to Jorginho, so people were arguing, again, why not play Kante in that position, or put Fabregas on the left or right, or maybe even Jorginho on the right and push him up instead of Kante. And then you've let this world-class vet, who's even 31, 32, still a great player, leave to go to AS Monaco. Crazy, crazy. At this point, we do have Kovacic at the club as well. A lot of people, I've heard a lot of people don't like him. I actually do like him. I think he's a fantastic player, technically gifted, physically strong. And he's just really good with the ball, and he can add some goals as well to the game. I really like him. I think Chelsea should pay out for him at £40 million to pay him full time. He is on loan. He goes back to Madrid, I think it is. He's still owned by Madrid, but I would definitely buy him. Loftus-Cheek had a breakthrough season as well. And he's done really, really well this season. Physically strong, bright future, dribble with the ball, got goals in his game. He's just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I love watching him. Barkley was supposed to come in at the beginning of the season. It didn't happen, and it came in kind of late in January. So that midfield was kind of packed, I suppose, with Loftus-Cheek, Kovacic, Kante, Jorginho, Fabregas, and then Barkley. That's 6 midfielders for 3 spots, but then you could have replaced 3 and put 3 in. So it is kind of a jam-packed midfield in that respect. But Jorginho, when you're not doing your job kind of thing, it kind of feels frustrating and people get pissed off at you for that. You know what I mean? You put any position on the pitch and you're not doing your job, don't matter who you are, you're not doing your job, you know, come on, get the fuck out, bring someone in who will do your job kind of thing. So with all these great midfielders and letting Fabregas go, it didn't make sense why he can continue to play Jorginho. Later on in the season, Jorginho, especially the latter stages, has done kind of alright. Being a bit more physical, getting some tackles in, breaking up play, which I was shocked at. I was like, my God, he's doing something now, you know what I mean? Hudson-Odoi on that left-hand side has come on in, getting that youth going, lots of pace. Exciting to watch when he comes on, left or right. You know, he's competing with the likes of Willian, Pedro, Hazard. I think we've only got one person really on that left side. There's no one on that left other than Hudson-Odoi and Hazard. So, you know, to displace Hazard is a pretty big ask in itself. But you know, so even having them both on each side, it's exciting. And at times, you know, the wingers on the right weren't doing their job. Put on Hudson-Odoi, he was forced to kind of make that change here and there, every now and again, and it was kind of interesting because we wanted him to play Hudson-Odoi all the time, and then I think he played him in 1 or 2 games where we lost, and we thought he should play, but I think it was a Liverpool game, he should play, but not in those big games. It didn't make sense. Not that he is not a quality player, But why would you play a youngster who's very talented, yes, but why would you play in a massive game against Liverpool when we're trying to dethrone Liverpool, trying to stop Liverpool, this is one of the big four. It didn't make sense to me. Should have put on someone else like a veteran and then played, Hudson-Odoi against Newcastle, whoever it is, a weaker team. So it didn't make a lot of sense to me in that respect. But Hudson-Odoi has broken in this season. Loftus-Cheek has as well. And, Barkley's put in a good shift as well, putting in a few goals. And he's really come in his own after being injured at Everton for a long period of time and stuff. And, yeah, so that's really interesting to me, how he's developed over the course of the season. So let's go to players on the way out. Oh, next I want to talk about. So the players on the way out are Higuain. Okay, he's on loan at... to us from AC Milan, I believe it is, or is it Juventus? I think it's AC Milan. I think so. Kovacevic goes back, so that's two players gone. Moretta's on loan, and he has no. He's scoring bags of goals in Spain, but he's no interest in coming back to Chelsea. He's not thinking about Chelsea, so I actually think that he might stay there just on that loan period, or we might just sell him full whack. Who else have we got leaving? Cahill was leaving after 7 years at the club, 2 Premier Leagues, a League Cup, an FA Cup. And Europa League. Or was it 2 Europa Leagues? Might be. 2 Europa Leagues, a Champions League? I think he was there when we won Europa League last time. I'm not sure, can't remember. I think he was. So yeah, he had a very successful career at Chelsea. He's been at the club, I think, 7 seasons now from Bolton. A £5, £6, £7 million buy, or £8 million max. Really good buy. Been a great club servant. Too bad he didn't play in the final 5 or 10 minutes of the Europa League final. So he's on his way out. Don't know whether he will be joining another club. There's talk of Fulham and God knows what else. So who knows? Or maybe become a coach or whatever else as well. So we missed it, but we've got Zuma to come back as well. So we've got Cahill gone, Kovacevic, Higuain. Those are 3. I haven't got the list of players in my on my screen actually, which is kind of annoying. Maybe I should have done that. Hold on. If I can get that squad up, just out of interest. Let's have a look at the teams. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to... Here we are, squad. So let's have a look. Right, so Giroud has signed, that's what I was going to say. Giroud has signed a 1-year contract extension. William Caballero has as well as signed a 1-year deal. We've got Robert Green. I don't think he's leaving either. I don't know about Robert Green. I'm not too sure. I think he just had a 1-year deal, but I don't think he's going to leave. Who else we got? Because a lot of these are youth players. Danny Drinkwater. We haven't spoken about Danny Drinkwater. I feel sorry for him. He's been a bench warmer for the whole fucking season. Hasn't been used. He's been used like 5-6 times max throughout the whole season. So he's just collecting his wages at this point. I don't like the idea of people doing that. But what you're going to do at the end of the day, if manager don't want to use him, he don't want to use him. It's nothing you can do. Who else we got? And that's about it. There's no one really else leaving other than Hazard, which I think I'll get to in a little bit. But yeah, so Moretta, it's interesting because now Moretta it doesn't want to come back to Chelsea or whatever, and we've got Higuain leaving. What are we going to do for a striker? I know, like I said, we've got Giroud, so he might be the first team player for a year. But then again, we've got I don't know if it's a 1 or 2 year transfer ban or just 2 transfer market bans. I think that might be the case. And, so we've got this transfer ban coming up, and then we've got players wanting to leave. Do we bring Moretta back? I don't know. Griezmann is rumoured to be leaving Atletico Madrid, going to Barcelona. Could we have said to Atletico Madrid, keep Moretta, but you give us Griezmann and we pay you like 30 million or something? Maybe that's an idea. But then again, he isn't proven in the Premier League, so that's a whole different ball game. Is he proven? Can he play at the Premier League's top level? But then again, look at Torres. He came to the Premier League, set the world on fire, and then when he came to us, he was gone and shit and everything else. I don't want to rag on about Torres, but just to give you an example, when he was proven in the Premier League, came to us and then failed to perform. So it's hit and miss, really. It is. Anyway, so Hazard leaving the club. Rumoured to be happening, going to Madrid. very disappointed to see him go. He came out after the Europa League final and said that he was said to Chelsea 2 or 3 weeks ago he wanted to leave. And then they're waiting to hash the deal out between Madrid and Chelsea. Rumoured to be about £130 million, the papers are saying. Some are saying 120, some are saying 100 million. Who knows? I don't know. I would like to have seen Chelsea say, you can have Hazard for 100 million, but you're giving us Kovacic as well. So then we've got, like, he's worth 30, 40 million. So just say, right, give us 100 million Kovacic and you can have Hazard. There you go. So that offsets some of the cost for paying 130 million. Just say give us 100 million straight, and then, you know. So I kind of would have liked that to have happened. I don't know. I would like to have seen it happen. I'm disappointed he's leaving. As I said, he's been a great servant to us. Won tons of trophies here, and it's been a privilege to watch him play in the Premier League, and he'd be sorely missed. It reminds me of when Cristiano Ronaldo left. You know, I love watching him play every week. Even though he's a rival and everything, he was a great player, you know what I mean, and did a lot. But I think Hazard has earned the right to go to Real Madrid. He's really good. He's done all he can at Chelsea, and I think he wants a new challenge, and that makes perfect sense to me. And there's no hate or malice in him going. I think it's fair, you know what I mean, in that respect. Guys, let me just make sure I secure this footage, and I'll get back to talking about more in respect to Sarri, the youth, and our new player who's going to be coming in to replace Hazard, let's be honest. Okay, guys, I'm back. I just wanted to make sure that footage was nice and secure. So the next topic I want to talk about is the player coming in to replace Eden Hazard. Was bought in January, and not 5 or 10 million buy. Oh, he's a bit of a youth player, and he might be good in the future. No. This is Pulisic, an American, age 24, coming in. He's a right winger from Dortmund, I believe we bought him from, for a a incredible amount, 50, some saying 60, 59 million pounds. So that's a lot of money. So I think what was going to happen essentially is he will be on the left wing, competing with Hudson-Odoi next season, and we're going to have William and Pedro on that right. So we're still going to have 4 wingers, and thank God we did buy him. We need someone big to come on in. I think maybe Chelsea even knew that that Hazard was going to leave, and we needed someone pretty big to come on in and fill those shoes. Whether he does that or not, I'm not sure. You can watch footage of him probably on YouTube, and I probably should have done that before starting this video. But I have faith in him being actually really good, because I mean, I know it's ridiculous. I always do this. I actually bought him on FIFA a few seasons ago, and he was really good as well, and grew up to be a really great player. And he's still only 24 now. So the future's bright in respect to his future. So I have faith in him to do whatever, X, Y, and Z. In the German league, he's done it. So, you know, he come to Chelsea and he'll elevate that. And he fit right into that slot on that left-hand side. Or maybe it'd be on the right and William on the left. Or maybe it'd be him on the right and then Hudson-Odoi on the left. You just don't know. But yeah, with this transfer market ban coming up, we're going to start after using our youth. And that kind of cuts into the Sarri situation of whether he stays or whether he goes. In respects to the transfer ban, it doesn't make sense to get rid of a manager, because any manager that comes on in is going to have to put up with a 2-year or whatever 2 transfer bans. So he won't be able to put his stamp on the actual team. Sarri has just come on in and he's bought Jorginho, and he's added to that. He's got rid of one of our players in respects to Fabregas. And then you've got Moretta as well. All right, he's on loan. But he's trying to put his stamp on it, and it's only been 1 season. He's brought 1 player in, I think maybe 2, Kovacic and Higuain, which are great players. Even me, if I was at Chelsea and you told me, hey, you got the chance to bring Higuain into the club, I would have done it. Hasn't worked out too well for him. He's got shots on target and stuff, but he hasn't scored enough goals. But whatever, it is what it is. So it hasn't really over the top worked out. I don't think we'll be buying him full time anyway, even if we did have the chance. I don't know. I think he'd just go back to Italy at this point. But any new manager that has to come on is going to have to deal with that. And I don't think a lot of new managers want to sit there dealing with 2 transfer bans when they're trying to do it, and then like do their job and then manage that team, and then, you know, and in those 2 years, if they don't win something, probably be fired. So I don't know if anyone really wants to do that. I think they keep Sarri because of that. Just say, you know the situation, you've bought in X, Y, and Z player. We're screwed for the meantime, but you just have to deal with what we've got and use some of the youth players. And I think Sarri will accept that, and we just go from there. And whatever happens, happens. because some of our players are getting a little bit older, but at the same time we've got over 40 players out on loan who's at youth level. So I'm thinking maybe they should come back. We've got Tammy Abraham at Aston Villa, who gained promotion at Villa, beating Derby. You know, it was John Terry's assistant manager, I think he is, and you got Frank Lampard as full-time manager at Derby. As well. So I think Sarri's going to have to use some of that youth, which will be kind of interesting and really could be a blessing for Chelsea in a lot of ways, forcing them to use that youth. We know we've had Hudson-Odoi and Loftus-Cheek break through, and they look like world beaters to me. They really do look like solid players, and I'm so happy that Loftus-Cheek has stayed with Chelsea after losing the likes of De Bruyne, Lukaku, and a bunch of others, Salah even. You know, which was, you know, I say this from another perspective, because as a Chelsea fan, you may be thinking, man, I wish we kept De Bruyne, man, I wish we kept Salah. And John Terry said something interesting in an interview. He said that his perspective of it was simply, well, it doesn't matter that they left, because at the time, they weren't improving our team. They didn't do anything to our team. They didn't make it better. They weren't at that level yet. So getting rid of them, like, is, yeah, they've come good now, but at the time they weren't that good, so we didn't need them, kind of thing. So, you know, which is kind of interesting perspective, but I'd like to have kept them on loan and then bring them back, you know what I mean? But hey, there you go, it is what it is. So yeah, so it could be a blessing for Chelsea in disguise, having that youth level. If we you know, and like I said, I'll talk about the cups and everything I said about Surrey in the past in a minute. Sorry, you know what? I think I'll just go there now. So basically, I've been calling for Surrey to go for halfway through the season, wanted him to go because the players didn't look like they were playing for him. I thought he'd lost the dressing room, and all these situations ongoing. And there's been a couple of bust-ups at the end of the season as well, or in the training ground, where I think David Luiz elbowed Higuain in the face, and then apparently Surrey stormed down the pitch. Or stormed down the tunnel on the training pitch, and apparently the papers were trying to sell papers, and obviously the elbow was real, and there was a bit of a square up between Luiz and Higuain, but apparently Surrey was pissed off because in Baku they wanted to practice free kicks, and they couldn't do that because the media was watching. They don't want to give away their tactics and all the rest of it in the media coverage, you know what I mean, showing what we do. So like I said, I wanted Surrey to go, thought he lost the dressing room. But in conclusion, what have we got? Surrey has came in, he played a brand of football, it started off really well, went a bit shaky, and then he stabilised us. People kind of knuckled down the players, and it's like, look, he's here, he's staying, fucking get with it, kind of thing. And maybe their attitude has changed a little bit and bought into his system, and we're playing really well, especially the Arsenal game in the final. We was like a well-oiled machine. It was brilliant to watch. We outplayed them, outclassed them. I think a lot of that had to do with the players being older and more vets of the game itself, and knew how to win a final, and shook it off. And this Arsenal squad was very young. So in conclusion, we've got what we've got. We've got a cup final, Carabao Cup. We only lost on penalties to Man City. Pretty good. Okay, disappointing, but you know, that's a final. We've got into Europa League final, which is European final, obviously, and we fucking won it. And we've made top 3. Now, for me, someone who said I want top 4 and maybe a cup, you know, even if we didn't win Europa League, we would have made top 3 and got to a cup final. That's pretty decent for the first year. For a man who's never been in the Premier League, never won a cup, that's just the beginning. He didn't really put his stamp too much on the team. He bought 1 or 2 free players maybe. I would say it's maybe a fair season. Having said that, he's got to 2 finals, won one of them being the Europa League and the top 3. And that Arsenal performance was really, really good. And it seems that Chelsea, halfway through the season, has shaken it off. So I wanted him to go in the beginning, like halfway through the season. Do I want him to go now? I don't know. I would say no. Give him another chance. Give him another year. Now that he's got majority, you know, he's made a few changes, and it looks like the team has bought into the system in itself, or you know, like playing for him now. Will Roman Abramovich allow that? Will he fire him just on principle? Because we haven't won the league or whatever. I don't know. I hope he doesn't, because Surrey, basically what I'm trying to say is Surrey has earned the right to stay there another year. He has. There's no doubt about that. He got to Europa League final. He's in the top 3. He got to a cup final. And he's 3rd. That's pretty good. Now, in respects to the distance between Liverpool and Man City, well, Man City just fucking killed it this season, didn't they? They did. And then Liverpool couldn't catch them on their 97 points. So, you know, and we fell off halfway through the season as well. So, fair's fair. I think he's earned the right to stay at Chelsea. But I'm a little bit nervous about the transfer ban. It's going to be an interesting season next season. Hazard carried us through this season. We won't have him. So I'm kind of worried about that. You know, so let's call this season a success. But next season, I'm really worried, actually. Without Hazard, the transfer ban, it's going to be an interesting season next season. And I am kind of wary of it. I want it to roll around quick, but I'm also worried about it as well. Man City next year is going to be powerful, as usual. Liverpool going to be very strong. I think it might be out of Man City, Liverpool, and Tottenham, the title race. I don't know about us, because we've been carried by Hazard this year. Fuck knows what we're going to do in the Champions League. I don't expect to get beyond. I think we'll get out the group stages, maybe. But that's it. I don't see us winning it. I don't know. That is my prediction right now. The league-wise, I'll be happy with top 4 again. It depends. Because we haven't got Hazard for the 18 games at the beginning of the season like we did before. And then plus everything going forward. We haven't got. We might not have Hazard, sorry. Because he will be leaving for Real Madrid, assuming that happens. So I am very worried about that. And next season is going to be a very interesting season. I think that Surrey might stay for another year. And in that year, whether it be January or a bit beyond that, I think he'll leave. He'll get fired. Unless he can pull off a miracle and do something amazing with this team, and Pulisic performs and we all push together up that league and look in a strong position, because, or we might just wait to the end of the season and then go, because I don't know if we can make top 4 without Hazard. I know that it's all pinned on Hazard, but really, he has pulled us out the dark for this whole season. He carried this team. There's no doubt about that. You know, Giroud scored in the Europa League, yes, but can he do it week in and week out for us? I don't know. So, worrying times for Chelsea, at Chelsea. Going to be a painful season next season, I think. I'm going to say low expectations next season, because we've lost Hazard, and he has been part of the makeup of the club for so long that him leaving and being not just a great player at Chelsea, but a world beater. You know, you take him out of any club in the world, and your team's going to miss him, like Ronaldo. You take him out, fuck. You know what I mean? Where's Ronaldo? It's not that Chelsea can't do it. I just simply look at the team and their performance this year and go, he carried them. So next year he won't be there, in theory. So where are we going to end up? I don't know. Might go right back down to the Europa League. Might make top 6 next season. You know, and get in that kind of bracket. I don't know. So I have no idea what my opinion is for next season. I'm worried. When I think about it, you know, I've been speaking positively about, well, you know, going down this list about this season, but for next season, we're going to have youth. Unless we play the first team in all the Premier League games and all the youth in the cup games, fuck the cup games off and just give them to the youth and see how far we get, like Arsenal kind of scenario, you know what I mean? And then just play the world-class players, or the ones we've got like William, Pedro, whatever, and then put the experienced goalkeepers on, like Willy Caballero, put him on to have that youth. Loftus-Cheek might play in the youth in the cup games as well. You know, people that just are fringe players and not getting enough looking in the first team, put them on all the cup games and see how far we get. Or he might try and play the first team in the cup games, try and win a cup. I don't know. I'm not too sure. When we're going to have Champions League as well, so I think he might be forced to do that. So if the youth come back, the youth might play in the cup games, and then going forward the first team like William, Pedro, Jorginho, Kante play in the Champions League and the league. We'll have to do that. And pray to God that we pull something off. I don't think we'll win the Champions League next season. Top 4 is what I want to make again next season. And maybe a cup run. So it's funny, because we lost Hazard, I can't say win the league this season. Oh, that'd be a miracle coming up. So yeah, I'm thinking that nothing's changed. The goals for me haven't really changed. For me, it's just simply let's make that top 4. Let's get a cup run, and you know, anything beyond that, guys, is a fucking bonus for me. Looking at that team now, and this transfer ban coming up, going to be an interesting season next season. There's going to be pain. There's going to be suffering. The makeup of my FIFA simulations will be a little bit different, depending what he decides to do and all the rest of it. You know, it's going to be interesting. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and my thoughts and opinions. Yes, it was a bit of a rant and a little bit somber towards the end, giving it a real good think. And, you know, who knows? So, in conclusion, top 4, a cup run. I don't think I think we might win a cup, and you know, whatever else. I'd like to think we win the Champions League, but let's be honest, without Hazard, and those other players like Barcelona and Juventus and all the rest of it, going to be absolute fucking nightmare. I think we'll get to the quarterfinals at least next season, and I think Sarri next season, if he doesn't pull something off, if this season isn't good enough, or it's just about good enough, he's got to pull something off similar next season to warrant staying at the club, or Roman Abramovich keeping him at the club. But again, at this point as well, the transfer ban is a bit of a killer. If it weren't for the transfer ban, then I could say we can add a lot more players and blah 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 and replace those players that are leaving. But yeah, that is playing a factor in my mind right now. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video and my season review. Thoughts and opinions on Fabregas leaving, expectations, and the future of the club going forward. You know, don't forget to follow me on my FIFA simulations. That will start up near the friendly element of it in a few weeks' time. Whenever the friendlies pop up again, I'll be doing those. And I'll be playing God of War in the next few weeks as well, so don't forget to check that out. Plus, we've got to finish off Assassin's Creed as well. Anyway, guys, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Links will be in the description below. And don't forget to check out my PayPal. You can donate to me if you want to help me run this channel. It helps me upload, buy content, and all the rest of it. All goes back into the channel anyway. And I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.